The
Enemy
command
fleet
deck of the
advancing, shields at
Valerian cruiser
80%.
brightness
Copy,
at dawn
rerouting
flickered
power to
with
forward
emergency
deflectors.
lighting as
Interceptors
Commander
launching, holding the
Thelvas
line.
watched his world crumble through the viewport. The Krell armada surrounded them, 300 warships against the Valorians' mere 47. His six-fingered hands trembled over the communications console. "Send the distress beacon to all allied frequencies," Thelvas ordered, his melodious voice cracking. "Tell them the Valorian collective is falling. Tell them, we tried." Around him, his bridge crew worked frantically. The Valorians, a species known throughout the galaxy for their diplomatic prowess and peaceful trading networks, had never been warriors. Now they paid the price for their pacifism. The Krell didn't negotiate. They consumed. 3 solar cycles passed. The Valorian fleet had retreated to their homeworld's orbit, forming a final defensive perimeter. Thelvas had given up hope when his communications officer, Gen Alice, gasped. "Commander. We're receiving a response to our distress call. The Zenthari Imperium?" Thelvas leaned forward. The Zenthari were their closest military allies. "No, sir." Gen Alice's bioluminescent skin pulsed with confusion. "The signal identifies itself as Terran Naval Forces." "I've never heard of this species." "Terrans?" Thelvas accessed his databanks. "Nothing." "Where are they from?" "They call their world Earth, sir. It's in the Perseus Arm, a backwater region we've never explored. They say." She paused, her voice uncertain. "They say a fleet is en route. ETA, 4 hours." Thelvas slumped back. 4 hours. The Krell would attack in 2. He'd called for salvation and received only strange promises from an unknown species. The Krell attack began on schedule. Thelvas watched as enemy ships penetrated their outer defenses. This was the end. Then space screamed. Dozens of ruptures tore through reality itself, not jump points or wormholes, but something else entirely. Through these wounds in spacetime emerged vessels unlike anything the galaxy had witnessed. They were massive, angular, and brutal in their efficiency. No elegant curves or artistic flourishes. Just raw geometric purpose wrapped in reactive armor that seemed to drink in sensor sweeps. The lead ship was emblazoned with text Thelvas's computer translated, USS Ronald Reagan. "Valerian Command, this is Admiral Marcus Webb of the Terran Third Fleet," a voice boomed across all channels. "Sorry we're late. We had to dust off some old tech to get here fast enough. Switching to combat protocols, recommend you pull your ships back behind our formation." The Krell didn't hesitate. 200 ships surged toward the human fleet. What happened next would be studied in military academies for generations. The human ships didn't dodge or evade. They charged directly into the Krell formation like ancient cavalry. Their weapons were primitive by galactic standards, no plasma lances or graviton beams. Instead, they used what their databases called kinetic kill vehicles and nuclear-pumped lasers. But the ferocity, the sheer, unrelenting aggression, was something new. The USS Ronald Reagan took a direct hit from a Krell battlecruiser's main weapon. Thelvas watched in horror as the armor buckled, then held. The human ship didn't slow. It fired a spread of missiles that accelerated to .3 light speed, each one carrying a fusion warhead. The Krell battlecruiser simply ceased to exist. "All ships, weapons free," Admiral Webb's voice remained calm, almost casual. "Let's show these bugs why you don't mess with Earth's neighbors." Commander Thelvas watched in awe as the humans tore through the Krell formation. Their tactics were madness, individual ships breaking formation to pursue targets, ramming enemy vessels when ammunition ran low, one destroyer even self-destructing to take out a Krell carrier. But it was working. "Sir," Gen Alice whispered, "their casualty rates, they're losing ships at 3 times our standard acceptable limits." "They know," Thelvas realized, watching another human frigate sacrifice itself to protect a Valerian medical ship. They're doing it anyway. A transmission came through. One of the human ship captains, a woman named Captain Jennifer Rodriguez of the USS Defiance. Her face appeared on screen, scarred, determined, unmistakably human. Valerian ship Brightness of Dawn, you've got 3 Krell hunters on your 6. I'm running interference. Get your people out. Captain Rodriguez, that's a suicide run. Yeah, well. She grinned. That's kind of our specialty. Rodriguez out. Thelvas watched the USS Defiance spin directly into the path of 3 Krell vessels. Her reactor went critical 2 seconds later, the explosion consuming all 4 ships. 6 hours later, the Krell fleet retreated. Of their 300 ships, only 92 remained functional. The Terran Third Fleet had arrived with 46 vessels. 28 survived. Admiral Webb's face appeared on Thelvas's screen. He was older than expected, with gray hair and eyes that had seen too much death. But he smiled. Valerian Command, the space is yours. The Krell won't be back anytime soon. Admiral Webb. Thelvas struggled for words. Your losses, your people. Died doing what humans do best, Commander. Webb's expression hardened. Protecting those who can't protect themselves. Your distress call said you were facing extinction. In our history, we've faced that threat more times than we can count. We learned long ago, when someone calls for help, you answer. Every time. No matter the cost. But why? You don't know us. We're nothing to your people. Webb leaned back in his chair. Commander, let me tell you about Earth. We're a young species. We've only been in space for 200 years. We don't have your technology or your knowledge. But we have something that apparently shook your galaxy. What's that? We refuse to let good people die alone. As the human fleet prepared to depart, Thelvas stood on his bridge, watching repair crews work on both Valerian and Terran vessels. The humans had stayed to help with repairs, their engineering teams working alongside Valerian technicians. One human engineer, a young man named David Patterson, had sacrificed his shore leave to personally repair the Brightness of Dawn's power core. When Thelvas thanked him, Patterson had simply shrugged. Commander, where I come from, we've got a saying. Leave no one behind. That doesn't just mean our own people. It means anyone who needs help. The Galactic Council would convene in 3 days. Thelvas had been chosen to propose humanity's introduction to galactic civilization. He already knew what he would say. They had called for aid, expecting perhaps a token force, a symbolic gesture from distant allies. Instead, they received something the galaxy hadn't seen in eons, a species willing to bleed for strangers. The humans called it, doing the right thing. The galaxy would call it revolution.